Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to City Skyline. We're on our build and we just hit the 850 population mark. So we've unlocked some more stuff. We've unlocked the district's abilities, policies, a different loan, district specialisation, service policies, and police, fire, and some unique stuff as well. So you can see we are crying out for more industry. So let's zone in a little bit more industry now. Let's add in a block just here, and also you can see that despite having a functioning power network, we're starting to get requests, which means our power supply isn't substantial enough. And there you can see we're producing 16 and the demand is 16, so we're starting to get some blackouts. So let's add in 2 more of these wind turbines just to double the amount of power that we're generating for now. That should tide us over. I mean, we throw out so much pollution over here that it's kind of good to have a nice little bit of a change. In fact, what we're also going to do is we're now going to create a district like so, and it's called Prospect District. We'll leave it as is for now. We're going to actually specialise this as a timber district. So that industry will start to change. You'll see these businesses will get torn down and we'll plant some timber businesses in here as well. This will help save on some of the pollution that the standard industry just kind of throws out. So we won't get this horrible smoggy area. We'll get slightly more, eco-friendly business. Just got to wait for those to start building in. We also have money now for police and fire, so let's drop those services in. We've got our health clinic just there, I believe. There it is. There's our health clinic. Look. So let's drop police next to the clinic, like so. And the other side of the road, we're going to drop in. Oh, that was fire that we dropped in there. Okay, so we'll drop police on this side of the road once we have that extra little bit of money that we need. So some people are going to complain, why are you cutting down the trees? Others are going to say thanks for supporting, timber industries and so on and so forth. You will never get 100% fully happy people when it comes to businesses. Some are going to say, we don't want this. Others are going to say, we love this. You'll never be able to please everybody. You can see we have these timber businesses going in. We do still have a fair bit of pollution, but it's not quite as bad as it was. Do we have enough for the police? Yeah, not quite, which is a shame because we have some very definite need for crime resolving going over here. Or crime prevention, I suppose, would be the right way to describe that. Crime resolving. Actually, we want to leave that block there. That's our kind of central block of commercial. We want to leave that untouched. So, because we've dropped healthcare and that there, we'll drop the police just below it. That's fire, not police, don't I? Police station, there we go. And we're going to drop that in just here. And then on the opposite side, once we have the money again, we'll put in education and we'll put that in just there and kind of stagger the gap. So we'll have a little bit of commercial there and a little bit of commercial there, commercial in the middle there, and then services there and services there. Now we have a big demand on residential again, now that we're getting all these people in. So let's make sure that our pipe covers all the way down here. It does. So let's go ahead and start zoning in that extra residential. We're going to go for a fill tool just to make it a little bit quicker. There we go. And let's drop in some commercial, but for this we want to go to select because I don't want to fill everything. That was going to be services. But until then, we'll make it all commercial like that. Industry, how is our industry doing over here? We could probably do with a little bit more. So let's drop in the other half of this block here. There we go. And let's see, what's our traffic like? Not too bad. Well, we don't have a huge population yet, we're only 1,000 people, but there will come a time when traffic will start to get really bad. And unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about that. Oh, there we go. We have a fire somewhere. Oh, fire's over in the industrial zone. It's the worst place to have a fire is slap bang in the middle of a timber district. And there we go. We've got new buildings. We've got the high school. We still need to put an elementary in. So let's... Oh, another fire just there as well. Look. So let's put our schools in. Education. There we go. Now, this high school is huge. And we need 24,000. We're going to build that one first. Actually, that's a different size to what I was expecting. It's because we're using... we're on a European style map as opposed to the last time where we were on and we had a huge L-shaped school, which was just massive. Let's drop that like that. So there is our high school. And we need 10,000 for an elementary. Okay. They're asking for more industrial. So we do have a little bit of zoning space left to us. They're not after a huge amount. So what I find is a good thing is to not overdevelop your industrial, because if you do, if you build too much or zone too much, you know, more than you need, you get a constant demand for workers. Whereas if you under zone for industrial, then you have less jobs for the same number of people. So you're likely to have all of your businesses functioning more efficiently because they're all more likely to be fully staffed, rather than having multiple businesses understaffed and all competing for, you know, a very small divided workforce. We have the option of buying a new piece of land, so let's have a look and see where we can build. Now, we could go that way, but there isn't really much point. What I want to do is go this way, because I can connect to the rail network that way. So you can see the railway line is just there. When we get to a station, we'll be able to, or build a station, we'll be able to actually connect to our railway line nice and conveniently now. Now eventually this will all become kind of industrial, and residential will probably move, residential commercial will probably move alongside the riverfront here. And then you can see our pollution edging its way down the river. Until we get a large enough population to be able to replace that with the sewage treatment works, there's not a lot we can do about dumping pollution in there. But you can see, again, by putting it downriver, the current's taking it well away from where we're drawing our water from, so we're not going to be poisoning our citizens, which is something that I inadvertently did on a previous map. I couldn't get the water clean in time to prevent it. It was a kind of one of my test farms, not the one that we saw on the channel earlier, but it was on that map. And I went from a huge population to just loads and loads and loads of deaths everywhere. Everyone just dying from you know, poisoning, basically. My hospital system, even though I added in all sorts of extra stuff, just could not cope. We might need to add a bit more power in there. And we can't afford a wind turbine just yet. We're getting some power requests over here, and they are connected to the zone. So that is a rolling blackout issue. Well, not, well, brownout, I suppose. Right, now we have enough. Let's build an extra one of these. Just there. And now we have a little bit of a buffer on power requirements. But yeah, basically I ended up poisoning pretty much my entire city. I had a lot of people. I had like 30,000 plus people. And at the end of it, I had less than 10,000. By the time I was able to, get clear water back into the system, I went from within the space of about 10 minutes from having a bank balance of $700,000 to less than 100,000 to negative bank balance, because everything was set up to generate a certain amount of money, but was obviously paying out in terms of services and stuff. And I didn't want to start demolishing stuff. I didn't have to rebuild it later. I just wanted to try and get the water cleaned as quickly as possible and get people back up to full health as quickly as I could without spending too much money. And I lost around $800,000 in the end. I managed to start earning back again as soon as the water cleared up enough, through water treatment, to actually be able to allow me to pump clear water back into that city. The health improved quite dramatically, but I lost a huge amount of money in a very short space of time because my city was set up in such a way that, having a huge, almost derelict city meant that I was just going broke. All my services were costing way more than I was earning in taxes and so on and so forth. So yeah, I literally turned a overpopulated, very densely populated area into Detroit, essentially, something of a ghost town. But it quickly picked up again once the health issues were resolved. So we've got a big desire for more industrial. Let's drop some industrial over here. I'm looking actually to see, have we got any good farmland? It's hard to tell at night as to what we can actually get. Have we unlocked anything new? Did we build our elementary school actually? I can't remember. That's the high school. No, we didn't. We still need to build an elementary school. So we'll drop that in where that Tasty Noodles is. In fact, actually, no, I think we'll probably get rid of this. Is that a burger bar? See all the students hanging around outside the school there. We need $10,000 to be able to afford an elementary. Let's see, can we zone a little bit more commercial, industrial? Yes, we can. So let's zone that in like that. They want more commercial. Can I really put any more commercial in? Well, I can possibly extend it a little bit. We do that. Just check I've got power and water coverage in those areas. Well, I know I'll have power. Just checking I've got water coverage. Yes, just. Ow, just snapped my ankle there. Almost got enough for our elementary school. Probably should have built that one first. There we go. So there's our high school. So elementary will fit just there. There we go. There's our elementary school. Now we've got a little jungle gym in the back. That's kind of cool. Alright, so let's create some residential districts. So this is District 1 here. Again, with the districts, you have the option of choosing what size tool you want. We're using the medium, but you can go larger than that. A huge tool like that. That's the foggy district. Let's draw over here. We're going to rename these in a moment. That's Manor Square. Foggy district, I don't think that's a great name, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the inspector and then press triangle, and now you can see we have this yellow dot which we can click on our district, and now we have the option to pull up some information about it, so we can see the population breakdown in there, number of households, how many people are working, so on and so forth, and we can also rename the district. So what should we call it? Well, let's name things after farming simulator locations. So that's cool. Oh, I can't spell. Let's try that again. There we go. That's Colborough. We'll make this Chellington. There we go. We'll leave that as Prospect District for now. But I'm terrible at creating names. It's one of the downsides to being, you know, autistic, having Asperger's, is that the creative side of my brain doesn't always work properly. So, you know, I can't just create stories in my head in the same way that normal people can. It just doesn't work that way for me. And it's the same when it comes to making up things like names of places and stuff like that. When you're creating something, I can come up with these weird and wonderful designs for something. They won't be necessarily as creative or as elaborate as other people, but I can come up with some pretty funky, you know, interesting stuff depending on what it is I'm doing. But when it comes to creating a backstory or a history or a name, that's where my brain immediately switches off and just fails to work. So I end up tending to just name things from what I already know, which is why we're going to use farming sim names for districts like this. We will eventually sort of expand some of these districts, combine them together, and then replace old ones and so on and so forth. So Chellington will maybe expand into Colborough, Colborough will disappear and then relocate over here, perhaps, maybe. We'll see. But we were looking for farmland, weren't we? So we've got some nice land over here, which would be perfect for farming. This light-coloured ground here is going to be absolutely perfect. So what we're going to do is create a little farming district over here. So let's pause, and I want to try and get this as straight as possible, and that actually looks pretty good. There's a little bit of movement play there, but it actually looks pretty good. Let's see, can I get one of these lines to line up anywhere with one of these blocks? Not really. Yeah, they're not going to. So let's try that again. That's not far enough inside. So once again, you see, this is the hardest part for me, is just putting that first initial side road down. Okay, so that's a good indicator as to how straight we are, comparing the gap. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So, let's build our little farm roads, and what I'm actually going to do is, if I go to upgrade, yep. If ever you're not sure which one's selected, it's the one that's highlighted blue. We're going to upgrade this to a dirt road, just because I think dirt roads in the farm district looks kind of cool. So we're going to build just a small farm area, nothing huge, nothing massive. But we're going to build a little bit of farmland over here. And we'll go across another 2 blocks. And we'll go up another 2 blocks. And drop in there. Actually, we want to connect that all the way up, don't we? There we go. Actually, let's... If I remove that, that's going to remove that bit there as well. So yeah, we'll leave it like that. That's our farmland area. So now I need to create access. Oh, we're having power issues. Still. I thought we'd resolved that. Apparently not, no. Right, let's drop in another one. Have we got access to this yet? No. Well, let's just drop in another one of these and hope that's going to be enough. That's going to give us an extra 8. I don't think that will be enough. We don't have the money for another one anyway. It's just enough. Okay, so that's kind of put a real crimper on things, having that money taken away from us. So we're going to need to take out a loan. Let's go to economy. Let's take out just a small loan of 20 grand for now. Don't want to overdo it. Let's go to roads. Can I build a dirt road? I don't think I can. No, you can't build a dirt road bridge. So we're going to need just a standard 2-lane road. In fact, let's do it like this. Let's come straight down, straight over. And you'll notice that the bridge itself will change depending on the distance so that you're drawing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the road to here. There we go. And now I can play about with the road, with the bridge a little bit more, and zoom in and see what those different bridges are going to look like. Find one that I really like the look of. I think that's probably going to be it. So you can see we go down over that little hill there onto the bridge. Bridge rises up, comes down over the other side of that hill. There we go. There's our bridge. Oh, look at that. We weren't far off. Actually, a perfect connection over there. That's pretty impressive. I'm not going to connect onto the freeway. Oh, I suppose I could, actually. I probably should. Build a bridge over the freeway. If I can. No, that's quite spaced together, so I don't know if it's going to let me do this. Not unless I do it like that. That kind of works. We'll drop that down. And let's go freeform on this. This is just a temporary solution. We will obviously fix this at some point with something a bit more functional. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed into this point here. And it's not going to let me freeform it because we're too close to the freeway. So I'm going to have to straight line it instead. So we just end up with that severe sort of right angle turn. Although that could work out in our favour. I'd like to try and get straight on with that junction if I can. There we go. So now we have access all the way out to our industrial zone over there. It's quite a long way off. We're going to need to build our own little power over there, and water's going to be an issue as well. So that's kind of an expansion for later. We'll actually put some housing over there as well. We'll do all sorts over there. But for now, let's finish expanding over here. So I need some more water. It's not enough. Let's go across a bit more. It's a little bit too much. So let's go across one little bit. A little touch more. That's too much. It's fiddly at times, trying to get this right. It's a little bit too much of an overlap. I just realised that pipe isn't straight, so connecting onto that is not a good idea. We need to build from down here first. So this is a straight line, so let's build across that way. We can straighten out that other pipe later. Really do sometimes find myself being really, really picky. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. So we'll build that to there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually demolish this piping here. And now what I'm going to do is, if I connect, it should be a straight connection. It's not quite long enough, that's why. That's the same length. That's not, so let's demolish that. There we go, get a nice straight line going across the top. Connect up there. So now we can delete this, this, this. And you might think this is a little bit pointless, but as we progress along here, it makes it so much easier to be able to draw the pipe straight down from something that is in a straight line. It just makes the world of difference. So, let's drop that there. Ah, not enough money. Alright, we can refund that, because we don't need to go that wide. Refund that. And that. And now we can just connect up there. So now we have our water supply connected up properly over there. Let's also put in another one up here. And again, we're out of money, look. But you can see immediately how much easier it is to actually draw a new pipeline when you've got a straight edge to work off. So let's zone a little bit more residential over here. to zone all of that like that. Let's make a little bit more commercial. So let's zone all of that like that. And there you go, you see people are immediately complaining about the timber. And we can't really do much about the industrial yet unless we expand it, which I don't really want to do just yet. You can see how little pollution there is around here now that we're using a timber rather than what we had in before, which was just standard industry. There was so much smog around here, it was getting really cloudy after just a short period of time. Now it's much, much cleaner looking in the air, which is good. Well, we hit a milestone there. 2,400. So we've unlocked the advanced wind turbine. Thank goodness, we kind of need that. We've also unlocked buses and taxis and the cemetery, which is important. And now we have access to on-ramps and off-ramps and highways as well. Plus, we have access to recycling policies, which is good. So, we're going to pause our game here. This is another perfect opportunity to take a break. So, let's just have a quick pan around. You can see our little city is starting to really come alive now. We're going to continue to expand this zone in the next episode. And we're also going to use some of our cash to get our farming zone over here up and running. And we'll put some residential in over here, a little bit of commercial to support that. And then we've got all this land here that we can turn into farmland. And we also have another motorway there that we can connect to. So come back in the next episode to see how our town grows. Thanks for watching. I'm Jim Bob, and I will catch you back with some more City Skyline very soon.